Welcome back, Ultimate Weapons, it's the Night Sky Prince again. Star Ocean is a franchise that has somewhat been struggling after the climax of Star Ocean 3, or Star Ocean Till the End of Time as it's better known here in the West, with each and every entry suffering from lower sales and poor reviews. Square tried to revive the Star Ocean franchise this generation with Star Ocean 5, and while there were some quality waifus in Star Ocean 5, the game's story presentation was a bit weird and left many people from being able to fully enjoy it. However, recently Square has finally released Star Ocean Anamnesis. Yes, it is definitely a mouthful to say, don't hurt yourself trying to say that title. It is the first mobile Star Ocean entry in the franchise. While mobile gacha games in Japan are becoming increasingly popular, they sort of have a perception here in the West of basically being a slot machine with an auto battle minigame in between each pull. Does Anamnesis fall into the same trap, or is it a cut above? It's hard to say comprehensively so far, but here's what we know. When you start the game, you notice right away that the story sequences aren't going to be too impressive in this game. I don't mind the visual novel style at all. However, the game has beautifully rendered 3D graphics. It's just kind of a shame that they aren't used during story sequences. Oftentimes, a lot of text in the story sequences can just seem to drag. Though you can skip them or speed through them quite quickly just by tapping the screen, you also have this really annoying thing that is essentially your partner and your tutorial giver. Though you are quickly joined by this dime piece here who happens to be your waifu and will facilitate summoning for you. At least now the plot is going somewhere. While there are some voiceovers, which includes dual audio for English and Japanese, don't expect anything along the lines of Mobius where all the important cutscenes are fully voiced. Then there's the best part of the game, the combat. This has almost all the elements of a full Star Ocean game packed into a mobile experience. You are able to press anywhere on the screen, which draws a digital analog stick and allows you to move your characters. You're even able to dodge by quickly double swiping on the screen. For the most part, the camera is actually pretty flawless and is miraculously able to track all the action with very few hiccups. To do a basic physical attack, all you have to do is just tap the enemy and just keep tacking them to perform a physical combo. You then have your abilities in the bottom right corner here, which you simply tap the button to perform, and it performs it on your last selected target. Each character also has a rush attack, which they can perform, which is essentially their ultimate attack. Combat is pretty straightforward so far, and it's incredibly fun, particularly with the large cast of characters that the game offers you, allowing you to summon a new character for every day that you log in, quickly building up your roster. Once you have a number of jobs to pick from various characters, the game quickly becomes enjoyable and allows you to experiment quite a lot. The graphics here are absolutely gorgeous, even on my dated iPhone 6 Plus. However, I will warn anyone with an older or dated phone, you will probably need something at least equivalent to an iPhone 7 to get the most out of this game's graphical offerings, at least without any frame rate hiccups, particularly during the rush attacks where frame rate tends to chug the most, or anything where there's a crap ton of particles on screen. The character models are an absolute treat, bringing the quality of graphics you would expect from a console quality Star Ocean game. The environments and the enemies are quite beautifully rendered, and honestly, looking at this game on your mobile screen is an absolute delight. While playing the game is mostly a smooth experience, there are some technical issues that I'm surprised haven't been fixed considering how long the game's been out in Japan. This might have been an isolated situation for me, but try to avoid switching apps or pressing the home button on the iOS version of this game. Several times I had audio issues where the game would have choppy audio or just cut in and out, sometimes the screen even going black, and it wouldn't stop unless I closed and reopened the game. It once caused a bug in which touch input stopped responding at all, and I had to reset the app. While there are workarounds like the ones that I mentioned, it's still massively inconvenient. However, I wouldn't worry about that just yet, as this is something that could easily be fixed, I hope, and doesn't break the game. The game has an extremely large cast of potential characters that RNG Waifu will provide for you. This game is essentially Dissidia Opera Omnia of Star Ocean, allowing you to have all your favorite Star Ocean characters of past and present. Overall, Star Ocean Anamnesis, I hope I've been saying that right this whole time, is a really good game and is quite a fun action RPG to play for mobile. Its stellar and flashy combat is what makes it a blast to take out when you're bored and grind out a few fights. The story presentation is pretty average and nothing to write home about, and doesn't match up with the story presentation of other Square Enix offerings like Brave Exvius, Mobius, or even Opera Omnia. And it's really a shame that the story sequences don't use its 3D models. Overall, my impressions are that the game is worth playing so far. So I'll keep going and I'll give you guys an actual full review later on, perhaps when I'm more caught up on the main Ocean story. So what do you Ultima Weapons think? Will you give Star Ocean Anamnesis, Reese's Pieces, however you say it, a try? Or are you pretty much dead set on waiting on Star Ocean 6 to be announced to even think about getting back into the series? Subscribe, click the bell icon for a free summon ticket, and let me know in the comments below. And if you really love Star Ocean and want this series to massively be revived, be sure to head on over to our Facebook group, Ultima, Square Enix plus JRPGs, where Fiore and Raimi are already in your party. Link in the description below.